Welcome back to Fandom Fix. I'm Austin, that's Jonathan, and that's Ty. And today we're going to be talking about Captain America Brave New World. Now, many of you out there have probably already seen this. You've seen the news. This is possibly the lowest rated MCU movie to date. The reviews are not looking good from the critic side, but the audience ratings actually are pretty high. So what is this movie all about? Is it actually good or is it terrible? We have all the details today, and we're going to talk about our opinions about this. So let's jump in, guys. So what did you think of this movie with Anthony Mackie's first outing as Captain America and his first feature-length movie? Did he do justice with the role of Cap? Did this movie have a good story? Do you think this paves the way for the MCU moving forward? I would love to know what you think, so let's go.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I'll go first. So Anthony Mackie, I actually really appreciated as Falcon in all the previous movies, kind of playing sidekick to Captain America, played by Chris Evans. I didn't quite resonate with him as much as I would hope in this movie. So, like I said, I really liked him as the Falcon role, and now he obviously still is Falcon. He has the wings, but now he's got the shield, and he's labeled Captain America. But to me, he just didn't really hit the same way that Steve Rogers, played by Chris Evans, hit. And I don't know if that's what I was used to, and then now we got something completely different. But he just lacked a little bit of, like, that old Captain America, like the true grit of Captain America. You know, maybe it's just the time that they're raised, or they got a couple different aspects to them, both like good. Again, I don't think he did bad. He just is not the same. And I think that obviously like plays a part in how the audience receives him. And obviously that played a part in how the world receives him in the movie as well. You know, there's still some debate on whether or not people are truly bought in. But the movie overall, I don't think was terrible. I'm going to continue like giving him a shot. I think that he can grow into it possibly. I'm curious to see which direction they go in. But off the bat, it wasn't my favorite rendition of Captain America, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop on that bandwagon and piggyback off of you, man. He's just Falcon with vibranium wings and a shield. I mean, like, he is basically more like Iron Man than he is like Captain America, in my opinion. He's got a bunch of gadgets. He's not Captain America, and the things that Captain America did, Anthony Mackie, Sam Wilson does not do, in my opinion. Now, like you said, I love the guy. I think off screen, he's a really cool guy. I think he's a great actor. I think that he had moments, some of the dialogue that he displayed, like, for example, when he spoke with Bucky, I thought that was a great scene. So I thought there was moments. I think some of his dialogue with the new Falcon, I thought that was good at times. Some of his conversation with Thaddeus Ross, I thought was decent at times. So there was times where I was like, okay, you know, we have some hope here. But overall, he's just never going to be Steve Rogers. And so I got to echo what Thaddeus Ross says. You're not Steve Rogers. Yeah. And I think the problem is that we want him to be, and that we miss Cap because of how good Chris Evans embodied the role of Captain America. Like, he is Captain America to me. And that's going to be so hard. It's like when Thor retires and we potentially have to recast Thor. You know, it's like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with a Hemsworth not being Thor. So it's like, in my opinion, it just wasn't that good. And then overall, the movie itself was disjointed at best. I can see where they definitely had to reshoot a lot of things, so maybe it would have flowed a different way. And I know that they had to cut a lot of the final movie. It was much shorter than initially intended, so that probably hurt the overall story and arch of certain characters and everything like that. So overall, I just think it was like a Walmart version of Winter Soldier. It, you know, like the action wasn't as good, the story wasn't as good, the hero wasn't as good, the villain wasn't as good. We got the Red Hulk, which was awesome, but we only got him for a brief moment at the end. Yeah. So I would have loved to see more of that. I would have loved to have seen the Green Hulk show up or some other Avengers show up, other than Bucky. And if Bucky's going to be there, might as well use Bucky in fight scene. But anyways, I digress. It was average at best for me.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because I like how the movie kind of wrestles with the whole Sam taking up the mantle. And they kind of did that in Falcon and Winter Soldier too, the TV show. But I think like the best parts of this movie were when Sam was wrestling with that and this kind of the conversations he was having about his weaknesses and like how his like insecurities and how he was struggling with being the hero. Because at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that Sam Wilson is a good character. I've always liked him ever since Winter Soldier. And Anthony Mackie honestly has the charisma just in real life. He's taken this role full on. He's excited. Even the press tour that they've been on, he shows up the movie theaters, gets the fans excited. You know, he's gone and done like jumping out of like planes with the U.S. soldiers. Like he's done a lot of the lift as an actor to get people excited about him playing Captain America. And even Sam Wilson, like he's an ex, soldier. And so he has like the ability to be a soldier. Like it makes sense why Steve would have given him the shield as like a man. But I think you guys are dead on here is that even in the real world and in the world of the MCU, like people are just trying to wrap their mind around like Captain America is not Steve Rogers. And, I think that's why the movie's trying to kind of like relive some of the same like elements as like Winter Soldier. It's, I believe, a political thriller. But the way they did it was trying to push the story forward because, this is coming off of the shoulders of so many MCU movies that haven't done great, even the shows. This is the first time that I actually felt like, okay, we're getting somewhere. And Ty, you and I were talking offline, like you were saying like, hey, it's a step in the right direction. And I would agree with that. I just think that the story was just like, I enjoyed watching the movie. Like I walked out of it and I was like, oh, that was better than I thought it would be. But it was a mid-level Marvel movie. And to me at this, stage of the game, like I kind of expected more. And the marketing was incredibly deceiving for this movie because we all thought that Red Hulk was going to be this big part of the movie. And actually, after watching the movie, it made sense. Like, okay, they're building up to this, but still, that's what you bank your movie on, the coolest part of the movie, and you showed it all in the trailers. And so that to me was kind of disappointing. And so, but seeing Harrison Ford play that role, what did you guys think of Harrison Ford in that role, taking over as Thunderbolt Ross? Because I thought that like he played that character well, and I also thought that like Red Hulk actually looked pretty good, like him, like it looked like him in the CGI.
Yeah, definitely. I'll give him props. I think the guy is 80 or 81. He definitely still plays a good role there. And as Red Hulk, obviously he looked amazing. I think the Red Hulk was able to like make him look younger and obviously really good. But he's obviously a bigger name and cool to recognize. But yeah, that role is pretty tough because it's a little bit political. He's the president, so he's got a lot of things to balance. I think he did well. I'm hoping to see more of him.
Yeah. So Harrison Ford definitely has the gravitas to play the president role. He's played a president role before and prior roles, just as an actor in general. So the guy has got the acting chops. I thought, given the script that he was given, I thought he did an excellent job. He was probably one of my favorite characters of the whole movie.
Yeah.
I thought his scenes, he definitely owned the scenes. Anytime that he was in it, you kind of directed your attention towards him, in my opinion. And then obviously when he becomes Red Hulk, which you were wanting him to become the whole time, when he finally does, I agree with you. I thought the CGI was a lot better than previous MCU CGI. Like I thought they really took the time to make him look legit. And more than anything, I think it would have been amazing to see him take on a little bit bigger of a threat. Like, to be honest with you, that was the hard part for me is like Sam Wilson's got to take the super serum or, like he's going to have some Avengers fighting with him because this whole, I'm not going to take the super serum thing. It's getting a little old for me. Like you can't have a non-jacked guy fighting a Red Hulk. And I get that he had the vibranium, protecting him. But, in reality, I think Red Hulk should have ripped him to shreds. Mm-hmm. And so that was a little tough watching that. I feel like he was outmatched, outgunned. And maybe that's the whole point. And maybe that was the reason they kept it the way they did, because he was struggling the whole entire time to find his identity. He didn't feel like he was living up to Cap. So they even tried to lean into that in the movie. So I got to give them credit where credit's due. I think they're trying to lean into the fact that he truly isn't Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
And so I will give them a little bit of credit there, but they're absolutely right. He's no Steve, and he needs to be stronger, or he needs some other Avengers. I would have lost my mind if Mark Ruffalo would have stepped onto the scene, turned into Green Hulk, but they ruined Hulk character arc, in my opinion, too. They made him some soy boy.
Yeah.
So, I'm just like, what in the world is going on, MCU? Like, where is the Hulk that fought Abomination?
Yeah.
But anyways.
I mean, this is basically an Incredible Hulk 2, like, with all the plot lines. Like, so Bruce, I feel like, should have been in it if Betty was going to be in it, and Ross.
Yeah.
It would have made sense to me. But, I mean, even with the vibranium protecting him, the force of those impacts, like, should have hurt him in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, and it did. I mean, he, like, was having trouble getting up. And I think that was the point, because even when he was talking to Bucky, he was like, I don't really know how to live up to this ideal. Like, he was, like, crushing on the way to that after the whole Celestial Island scene. And Bucky basically was like, listen, like, Steve, like, did this, but you're giving them something to aspire to. So you're not Steve. Like, and so I thought that was a heartwarming scene. I'm glad they brought Bucky into that, and Sebastian Stan played that part really well. And so I think, like, to me, like, those, like, emotional beats did hit. And I think the emotional beats actually were pretty solid throughout the movie. It was just like the disjointed storyline, or like the very, like, just like safe bet of a storyline that we've kind of seen before. Because I mean, you're like, we have a random Black Widow. Oh, we got a Hulk. Oh, we got this like B level villain. It's just like kind of like a basic superhero movie. But the emotional beats to me did hit. So. Well, guys, I guess with all that being said, do we think this movie actually gets us excited about the future of the MCU? Do you feel like this movie pushed us forward with that end credit scene? It was a little vague, but I do think they're kind of setting up for something finally after all these years after Endgame. It actually seems like we're getting somewhere. So what are your thoughts on just the future of the MCU?
Yeah, I'll jump in. I think it definitely pushed the needle forward. I think they kind of sprinkled this throughout the movie that maybe Sam Wilson's character's job is maybe not to replace Captain America as the fighter that he was, but maybe as the leader. And he's going to get the new Avengers together. They kind of talked about that multiple times in the movie. So I'm hopeful that he's able to draw in what the Avengers is going to be now, and they're building up to something greater. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think this movie did push in the right direction, and we'll just have to wait and see what comes next.
Yeah, I'm echoing what Jonathan said. I mean, spot on. I think it moved the needle forward, and it's definitely alluding to a bigger bad that's out there, similar to how they alluded to Thanos for a while. So we know that Doom is coming, and we got the Fantastic Four to watch, and we got Thunderbolts to watch, and we have a few other things to watch before we fully get there. But I'm really looking forward to Fantastic Four. I think that's going to be a step in the right direction. I think everything that I've seen so far on that, it looks like it's going to be really good. They got some great actors, and that could be who they hitch their wagon to in this next phase. This is Fantastic Four, and they obviously are alluding to mutants and adamantium, and you're going to get X-Men. So we're gonna live in X-Men world and Fantastic Four world probably pretty soon after this phase, once Doom is over and all of that. So I think we got some good things to look forward to. We just got to hang tight.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, that end credit scene, as vague as it was, it pretty much sets up Secret Wars with the whole like, oh, other worlds are coming, you need to beware. I think Sam's gonna create the new Avengers, whoever it's gonna be, and which I feel like who they have left at this point with all the disjointed projects. But I think like that's going to be a really solid movie in my opinion. I mean, there's a lot of rumors that like Hugh Jackman's coming back as Wolverine, Tobey Maguire might be Spider-Man. Like there's a lot of rumors out there of like this kind of stuff that I think it's going to set up. And then it's just going to be like a complete reset from the MCU. And so I'm curious if like these plot threads, are they actually going to come to fruition like, the whole Thanos thing did? Because this multiverse saga hasn't been great, at least very disjointed. So I think it definitely pushed the needle forward. But we're going to need a lot more than that from Sam and the leader to actually, I think, give us an emotional payoff at the end.
Agreed.
for sure.
Well, we would love to know what you think out there. Did you think this movie was great, or did you think it was utter trash? There's a lot of opinions out there about this movie. Some of it is pretty valid. Some of it, I think, is a little unwarranted. But we would love to know what your thoughts are. So be honest in the comments. Let us know what you think. Like this video and subscribe to our channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss another video from us. But until next time, we're Fandom Fix. See you.